Welcome to Coastal Pines, Hazelworth, Georgia. I'm Greg Bennett, the instructor of welding. This is both intro and Oxyfuel class, and I'm going to run through all the assignments in that class as far as the cutting goes. Now, there's a lot of tools we got to learn and everything else. And I've got some good videos from, I think, weld.com. Great stuff. Them guys are good. You know, I've picked up a few things watching them myself, so watch those videos too. They go into the breaking down the bottles and setting your pressures and all that, so I'm not going to repeat that. I can't do it any better than that, so just watch them. But there's a few tricks. Them guys are in a educational setting, and I've came from an industrial setting, so there's a few tricks I've picked up too along the way that I want you to know. So to start, safety first and foremost. Got my boots on, got my pants outside my boots, got my long sleeve cotton shirt on, polyester, melts, sticks, burns deeper. Polyester will not be tolerated in this lab. And if you stay at this profession very long, you'll understand why one day. A couple of things, this soapstone, if it goes dull like that, you can take it, scrub it on some rusty metal, sharpen it right up. Of course, I already had that sharpened pretty much, but you can do it. Another little trick of the trade as far as laying out goes is a piece of angle on top of a piece of pipe. If you got a long enough angle, it will find the center of that pipe. It won't sit on there like that. So once it hits both sides, and you can find the center line of that pipe that way. You know, if you got to split a pipe, or even if you can, you know, get that mark right there, you can find the other side, and they've got other tools for that. And we'll get that deeper too. I just wanted to show you that. I do want to show you how to lay out a square end, speed square. You know, this little lip has got to be sitting flush on that for that to be 90 degrees, and it is 90 degrees. So line up the edge there to there, and you can mark that line. You got a good 90-degree cut, or line there for a good 90-degree cut. Now on a pipe, it's a little different. We use this little thing called a wraparound. And say this pipe's 20 foot long, and I'm gonna cut it in half, but to use a wraparound, you're gonna come kind of pinch it together, kind of work it back and forth, wiggle it a little bit, and it'll find not the center, but it'll find a 90-degree mark, and then tuck it back up underneath, and then scribe that line around it, and that's 90 degrees. That is very important. If you go into pipe fitting, you know, and you don't want dog legs in your pipe all over the place, so you don't tend to keep a job very long doing that kind of work. So we've got that laid out. Now, I've got several things here basically to cut. This is all my assignments. We start out with thin stuff. That's probably 16 gauge or less, 1/8 inch metal, 1/4 inch. This is a lap joint. You'll be doing this once you get in the welding classes, and I've already washed that off. But I'm going to show you three tricks here. First, how to wash that weld out. Second, how to cut two plates sandwiched together, and that's not an easy task, but there is some tricks. And third, how to cut 1/4 inch steel. So we're gonna put that there. I got some thicker stuff. We're gonna blow some holes. I've got a no-go gauge here. Go, no-go, what they call. I'll tell you what, we'll just lay us out a circle. Now here's another little trick. This thing's beveled on one side. You want that thing up against that edge, up in there tight. So when you draw around that thing, it'll be tight and you'll have an accurate hole. If you turn that thing around this way, you may be 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch off and have a hole that's, if it's 1/8 of an inch off on this side, time you get that side, it's gonna be 1/4. So pay attention. Think about what you're doing. I can't stress that enough. A lot of this stuff is common sense, but you got to use your brain to have that. You want that line just as tight up against that circle as you possibly can get it. Now, if you notice I got an X on that line there, I've already laid that line out. I'm gonna put an X right there. That tells me that I'm gonna cut inside of this circle, on the inside of that line. That tells me I'm gonna cut on that side. That's my kerf. That's what I'm gonna take out. When I cut that thing, I'm gonna take out probably 1/8 of an inch or better of metal, which is called the kerf. Whether that's on a saw blade or a wood, metal, it doesn't matter. But that's the side of the line I'm gonna cut on, is that X. And that's extremely important when you, in this profession, when you go to fitting and fabbing stuff. So we're gonna run through this pretty quick. I'm gonna run through it all. And this pretty much, if you can do all this, what I'm about to show you, you can hold your own out there in the field as far as where the torch goes. Now, if you stay with me very long, through all my welding courses, like this right here, you'll weld this up. You'll come out here. If it passes, you'll come out here. Even if it fails, you're gonna come out here and wash this top plate off of that bottom plate and reuse those 2 plates. If it passes, you're gonna do the same thing and still reuse 2 plates on the next rod. So you will be proficient at this before you get through my welding course, is what I'm trying to say, because this ties into all my welding classes. And in the field, you'll use this probably at least 1/3 of the amount of time you spend in the field will be with this as it will be with a welding rod. So the better you are with this, the better you're gonna be at that. All right, so one thing I don't think that other video covered was it goes with the pressures, the different tips. You know, you got different size tips. They'll have bigger holes. You got wash tips. But in the field, again, a lot of times you don't have the choice. You got one tip, one size fits all kind, and you learn to do everything with that one tip. So I'm gonna show you how I can do all this with this one tip. Some of it, this tip is a number 1, I think. Now with that, I'd like to have a double aught or triple aught, you know, something real thin, smaller flame. With that, I'd like to have a number 2, something thick, bigger flame. But I can control the flame out of this tip. It's just, it'll burn that fast and it'll burn that slow. You know, just got to slow down on that thicker stuff with a smaller tip. All right, so let's go through this thing. All right, so, and by doing that, what I'm talking, and I've already cleaned this tip. I've got tip cleaners around here somewhere, and as you can see, that's a pretty good flame. Now, if I was to mash that high pressure and that flame shortened up to about that long, you need to stop and start cleaning, because you're not going to get a good cut with it. You're going to spend twice the time and half the quality. So you want that long tail, and when I mash this trigger, you see that high pressure come out. So that's what you want to see. Now something thin, I don't need a whole lot of gas. I don't need. I'm gonna turn this thing down to barely nothing, and I'm not gonna give it a whole lot of oxygen, high pressure. I'm gonna just ease it to it. I'm gonna cut this little thin stuff. Now on this thin stuff, if I cut this thing straight down like that, the slag's gonna come around behind my cut and weld itself back up. So I'm gonna bend this thing around. I'm gonna try to keep relatively straight. You see how straight I am with that line, but a little bit off to the waist side. That'll throw all that slag on that side. So if that side's not important, by all means do this. If both sides important to you, go 90 degrees, and that you'll have as much slag on one as you do the other. This, I'm gonna just show you what I'm talking about. And with this, you're not so much cutting as you are washing. I mean, most of that was washing. But see all that slag on that side? And the only slag on this side is where I lost my flame. So, there's some real thin stuff. Now this is 1/8 of an inch. I'm gonna cut this off and get it squared back up. Now I would have normally turned the heat up on that, and I'm going to. I'm gonna split it down the middle now, get a little more gas, you know, get a little hotter. This is 1/8 of an inch, I'm still not gonna burn down. I'm gonna angle it a little bit, but you know, to see it, you know, I'm not gonna go straight down like that. I'm gonna angle it about 10 degrees, so, or 15. And that gives me a good cut. Very little slag, good smooth cut. Now, this, well, I'm gonna just show you what 1/4 inch. This is 1/8, that's 1/4, a little thicker. And I'm gonna just cut the edge off of this. And I'm gonna give it a little more gas too. A little hotter, a little thicker. There's the slag I'm doing with there. And that's a good lesson. Moves away from that slag, you see how cleaner it's cutting? Now, I've got 2 pieces of plate here. And I haven't seen this on video, so I'm sure somebody goes over it somewhere, but I'm gonna show it to you anyway. And so I'm doubling it. That's 1/4 inch, that's 1/4 inch, that's 1/2 inch, so I'm gonna get this thing hotter. And when I cut this, it's not gonna be a straight cut. It's kind of gonna be a kind of a back and forth. I'm gonna kind of be going from one side to the other, and what I'm doing is cutting the top plate, and when I go back, it'll cut the bottom plate. So let me show you that little trick. And it's slow going when you start doing that. But as you can see, it can be done. Now, I saw that molten metal start backing up on me, so like that. When you see that stuff start opening up, you got to kind of back up and redo it. I'll just cut that on out. That's hard, believe it or not, that's a hard cut to make. Very hard cut to make, but it can be done. You know what to do. While I got that piece up there, I'm going to show you how to wash a weld out. We'll stick that there. Now when you wash it again, you want to come in at an angle. There's a fine art, being too far away, too close, not hot enough, too much heat, blah, blah, blah. This is an art to doing this. And before you get through, you're going to be good at this art form. So I want it hot. You want to back up, come at an angle. I'm going to try to get my finger inside there where I can kind of control that a little bit. I like to control mine. And I'm going to start out real close, and once I get it up to kindling temperature, I'm gonna back up and start giving it the pressure. I'm gonna back up on this thing. Yeah, it's melting. Now I'm looking for that separation right there. See how there's two plates where I came between them? Separate right there. Then I'm gonna come back and wash the weld off. Separation, weld. Separation, weld. Find the separation, wash the weld. When you find that separation, it tells you how deep you want to go. Now I just washed that weld out. Let's go. I turn it over, wash that one out, flip it over, wash them out. Get that thing with a hammer. Most of the slag will come off, the two plates will come off. I might have to use the grinder on it a little bit, but not very much. And that's how you wash. And I'm going to do this again with the torch and with an arc gouger, which is electricity. So we'll go back over that a little bit later. I just wanted to show you so you have an idea. Thicker stuff. Again, I've got a small tip. I want a big flame. I'm going to have to slow down. But what I want to do, I'm looking for two things, listening and looking. When I start cutting and that dross slag goes to blowing out the other side, I want to hear that. It's like trying to fire off an old Studebaker engine. I mean, you can hear it go to popping and you know you're doing good. I also am looking for another thing. I want them flames not going straight out the bottom, but coming out the bottom and going forward. That's when you're cutting through good. If you see all that slag start coming back this way, you better slow down or back up because you're about to make a mess. You're going too fast. So this is hot. This is thick. I'm gonna go hot. Now, let me back up a little bit here. Anytime you're cutting, get comfortable. Get into the linebacker stance, that athletic stance. Get up on the toes of your feet a little bit. Bend your knees. Get balanced, whether you're 1 foot back or whatever. And more importantly, get that left hand, if you're right-handed, get that left hand down where you can anchor. You'll get so much better cut. We're going for quality here, and quantity for that matter, but lean more toward quality. Alright, so I'm also going to run that thing up against my forearm right in there, kind of anchor. This is an extension of my arm now. Personally, I like to go left to right. Some people like to drag these things. It's industrial torches, that's fine, but it does cause some friction in my opinion. And I can do better going left to right. But I'll show you both ways. I hope you can see that. You hearing the sounds, the whistling and popping. I know I'm going all the way through, and I can see the flag coming out the bottom, so I know I'm going all the way through. And that makes for a pretty good cut. Let's blow a hole. Inevitably, you're going to have to pop holes in something, whether it's to put a bolt hole or whatever. In this case, we got that no-go gauge, and I want this thing, when I cut this thing out, and I had an X in the center of that thing. See it? When I cut that out, I won't be able to slide this thing in there pretty accurately. Now, always remember, you can always cut more off. Can't always put it back. Not easily and time consuming. Again, quality versus quantity. If you have to do something 14 times, you're running into the quantity side then and the quality. All right, that's a pretty thick piece of metal, so you want to get that thing good and hot before you pour the oxygen to it. This is cutting steel is rapid oxidation, which is basically rusting real fast. All right, I think this thing is about ready. Now I'm gonna turn this thing a little bit because that's sticking. It's gonna come blow back on me to start with. And once I get through it, I'll turn it back straight. Yep, see? I about lost my line messing around talking. In fact, I'm not sure that's the line or not, but I'm just kind of guessing. I think that was it. I think that's pretty close. You can tap it out with a couple times with a hammer, you got a pretty good cut. That's pretty close. I mean, I can trim it up a little bit more. Now I can fine tune it one time, see where I'm out around and trim off what I need. And there is an assignment in this class. It's called the gadget, and this plays part. And for every 1/8 of an inch you're off is 10 points. So keep that in mind. You've got to be accurate. Now I can see I'm wide here, but I'm still a little tight right in there and a little bit flat on that circle. So another important thing to keep in mind, yeah, I'm perfect there. That's about as good as you're going to do. That's pretty good there. Another thing to keep in mind is be 90 degrees with your cut. If you're leaning in like that, you're going to have a bevel on that thing, and it'll go on one side, won't go on the other side. So that's a no-go. Alright, so there's your hole, angle line, channel line, basically the same thing. It's got a 90-degree turn on it. So I'm going to kind of show you how I do it. And this is some thin stuff, so you kind of got to go fast. But I'm gonna come up and pop out and slow down right there when I get to that long leg, and then kind of pop out. And that'll give me, it'll pull it out where I can come back and come down that line. In doing that, when you pop out, you want to be 90 degrees. You want to be 90 degrees on that line. If you pop out right there, it's going to cut out in that direction or in that direction. So keep that in mind. If you're cutting a piece of angle line in half, and you want both halves, you pop out in the wrong direction and you got a boogered up end. Now, you see I almost used that for a hammer. That is not a hammer. It looks like a hammerhead, but it's not a hammerhead. Don't use a dang torch for a hammer. Got a good clean cut, both of them pieces. I could weld them back up, no problem. So we got that, we got the pin, the angle, the hole, the bevel. The bevel. This is difficult on plate. It's even more difficult on pipe. Now, this is where I like to drag it between my two fingers. Let's cut this thing off square and get right. Now, woo, hot. Let's set this thing right. I'm gonna say it's Now, a lot of people like to cut across steel like that, pulling it through the fingers. I don't. I like to roll it. That way I can get more. I can roll that thing and spin my thumb out with that thing and get a long cut. But when I'm beveling, I do kind of like to grab it. It seems to be easy. Also remember, when you're beveling it, if that's 3/4 of an inch, you're cutting it on an angle across there, you're cutting over an inch. So you gotta have a pretty hot flame. I'm gonna preheat this thing pretty good so it's fast. I'm gonna even leave a landing on that, and I'll show you what that is in a second. The landing, you knock that flag off with a flat spot on it. Then I like to cut strong. And you want torque tip right up against the plate too when you're doing that. Kind of keep it steady. Take a little bit of your nerves out of it. Man. Alright, tight. Cutting along through the pipe and half, of course you're going to have to pop a hole in it. You're not going to be able to start down here and split it all the way to where you're going to cut. Learn how to pop holes. This is relatively thick. I'm going to start right on, actually, I want this piece of pipe, so I'm going to cut on that side, your side of the line. Leave that thing quite out. Hot. That's a lot cooler. A lot less noise too. You may want to step around on that side. I don't want to burn up my trusty assistant. It happens to be my daughter. Now, listen. You hear that tunneling sound, you know you've blown through all the way there. If you don't hear that, you know you need to pop another hole. Now, when I pop out this side, I want it to be 90 degrees. If I'm like that, I'm gonna screw up some pipes. But I popped out right on the hole there, so that's why that's important. Come off. Alright, now we'll bevel that and be done. Beveling pipe. Ooh, I knew better than that. Now that's hot. Alright, beveling pipe, it's difficult. And you're not going to do it perfectly. But if you can almost do it as good as I can, you'll be good enough. Ain't that right, Eddie? cutting that to a sharp bevel. And I'm gonna leave a landing on this one. When you're cutting it to the sharp bevel, you got to be careful not to go beyond the inside edge of that plate. And that's all there is to it. You can take a ball peen hammer. One little hiccup between where it stopped and started. Trying to make me look bad. But it didn't. Alright, again, these are my assignments. Check out that other video. It gets more into the regulators and all that, pressures and tips and tip cleaners and just all kind of good stuff. But this is, if you can do this efficiently, you're ready for that part of the field anyway. So, good luck.
Cut.
One other thing. Still got it going?
Yeah.
Thanks to my trusty assistant, my daughter, Smile Sarah. Cut.
Cut.